We are live.
All right. Exciting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for connecting with us. You are live on Stefan Funga Live. You are live on Kakombe, LinkedIn Live also. Depend from where you are connecting to this live event. We are happy to be here with you. We thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to be on this event. If you are already connecting with us, please drop a comment. Give us your location, your city, where you are, and the state. PJ, welcome.
That's
I
me.
see you connecting.
That's my link. I don't know why it linked to that account.
Beautiful. So we're gonna wait for some people to join us. Thank you so much. If you are connecting with us this evening, please drop a comment on the chat, and we are happy to have you here with us. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much. If you're connecting with us, please drop a comment on the chat. I see we've got 4 people already connected on LinkedIn, 5. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Please drop a comment. We're happy to have you here. If you're connecting with us, please drop a comment on the chat. I see we've got 4 people already connected on LinkedIn, 5. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Please drop a comment. We're happy. I see Valan is connected. I also see Luke connected. Thank you, guys. My guest today is somebody that I don't need to introduce, but for all of you out there, my guest today is Pam. Pam and I have connected in the past, but we're not going to start talking about our connection. We'll talk about our connection later on. Let me bring her on and let's start this show. We thank you so much for connecting with us this evening. Pam, you're welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. So
Thank you
glad
so
to be
much.
here. So good to see you again, Kakambe.
The pleasure is mine. I am so grateful to have you on this first event on LinkedIn Live. How are you doing? How's your day been so far?
It's been good. It's been good after the crazy weather in Chicago yesterday with all the tornadoes and the airports closing. Today's been a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day, not too hot. It's
Beautiful.
perfect.
Hey, we take a good weather any day. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
being here. For the people that don't know you, Pam, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Pam Soracco, and I'll give you the real short version. I have been in technology for more years than I care to admit to,
Mhm.
and kind of ventured more into the leadership realm of technology in the last, say, 12 or so years. And that's the relevant part of this conversation. Let's say, there's so many things I can talk about. I live in the northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
I've got 2 kids, 5 grandkids. Those are the things that are the most important in life.
Beautiful.
But from a perspective of work and work-life balance and
Mm.
hiring, that's what we're going to be talking about here. So I love to garden, swim, beaches, travel, and stay connected with wonderful people like my friend Kakambe.
And staying connected. That's why we're here. Like I said, Pam and I connected back, but we're going to talk about connection later on. Today, I wanted Pam to be here so we can talk to you. We can talk to you about hiring process today. How is it like, for people that are looking for employment out there? How is it like when your resume gets in the front of a director? What do they do? What do they look for? So that's sort of what we're going to be talking about today. Pam, you've been in the industry for so long. How did you get into this industry? Let's start there.
Well, that's actually kind of a funny story. So I was doing completely different work, more along the lines of marketing.
Okay.
And somebody walked in to the office next to mine and started setting up computers. And this was, a while ago in the 90s, right? So computers weren't as big of a thing back then. So
Mm-hmm.
they started setting up some equipment, and I walked over and, as a security minded person always would, because we were on a private floor where there was, nobody was supposed to be there without access. So I just was making sure that this person was supposed to have access. I said,
Okay.
"Hey, how you doing? What's going on here?" And he said, "Oh, we're setting up a LAN. We're going to connect everybody. It was an ERP system that this company was building." And again, I was doing the marketing work for this, not any of the software or the tech work. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Actually, we need somebody to be the LAN administrator. Would you like to do that?" And I said, "Sure. What is that exactly?" He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Don't worry, we'll train you."
We'll
And
train you.
so, yes, and so here we are, many years later, and a lot of iterations. That was an IBM LAN server working on OS 2, and the computers at the time were Windows 3.1 that were being connected to it. So it was a completely different world than we are in now. But that's kind of where I started.
Yeah, and the people that don't know what LAN is, it's a local area network. So that's so the computer job just landed to you
It
right
did. It did. And the interesting thing is that once I started doing it, I
there.
was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, I like this," right? I mean, I was just before I felt like I had a job. Now I felt like I had a path. I was doing something that I have loved, right?
Mm,
And I can get lost in a computer. I enjoy it.
mm.
I find it challenging and fun and interesting, and get to meet some of the best people.
I'll take you back on those first moments because that's sort of you know today it's a time where I actually advocate for people to get into tech because I think there is no better time than this time to get into tech. But for you back there, do you still remember the initial things that you did? How did you navigate those first few
Yes.
months when
Well,
when you are presented because it was an opportunity for a lifetime. Now here you are after all
yes.
these years. How did you navigate it?
So, honestly, so the first thing, and the reason that I was picked to
Mm-hmm.
take on that role is I was
Mm.
willing and I was eager. And the
Wow.
reason I stayed in that role as long as I did with that particular project
Mm.
was because I picked it up quickly and it was something that I could do. So how did I learn it? First, it was, on the job training.
Mm.
This guy's name was Brian. He sat down and he showed me, here's what you need to do. And it was really like creating user accounts,
Mm-hmm.
setting up access,
Mm.
making sure that if the file shares were set up properly for the access, and so people could share their information,
Yeah.
changing passwords. So it was very, very basic LAN administration.
Mm.
And then that kind of morphed into the next role was more working with Novell, and then I started taking some classes,
Novel.
right? And so I first got my Novell certification, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started working with Lotus Notes, and that was all on the job training because there wasn't even really training back in that day.
Mm.
And then when we switched over from Lotus Notes to Exchange, somebody put us through kind of this, like, here's the difference between Lotus Notes and Exchange training. And, and as things went deeper, it was really more about like, it was more about my attitude than it was
Mm-hmm.
about my ability to learn, right? Yes, it was important that it came easy to me,
Mm-hmm.
that I was curious. But whenever I was asked, "Hey, do you want to try this?" or, "Do you want to learn this?" I always like jumped on it and said, "Yeah, I'll do that."
Wow. That's a journey right there, from landed to you, you were eager, you start learning, and you start moving.
Yes.
Today you are up there on the senior level. You're hiring people who are coming into this field, and mentoring them, working with them as they embark in their journey, or being tech, or just employees on businesses that you've taken care of. How did you get to the level of leadership? Because let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
So, and that's actually interesting as well, because the
Mm,
first time I was offered a leadership position was a long time ago, and I turned it down.
okay.
It was bad timing. My kids were still little. I had a lot going on in my life, and I didn't
Mm,
want to take on that additional responsibility. But as time went on,
mm,
and I think because it's my natural instinct to just take charge, to
mm.
just, if nobody else is willing to make the decision, I'm willing to make the decision.
Under-
If nobody else is willing to lead, I'll jump in there and I'll be like, yep, I'll take the lead. And I think that it kind of bubbled into that role.
mm,
And when I was given a couple of big jobs with, leading a lot of people, at first
mm.
I was terrified, because I just was like, oh my God, how could this be me? How could
Yeah.
I be the one that leading all these people? They're so much smarter than I am about so many things.
Mm,
And finally became clear to me that it wasn't about being the smartest person in the room. It wasn't about being the most technical person in the room. It was about being willing to take ownership, take responsibility, and kind of direct, I don't want to say direct traffic, but yeah, in a lot of ways, direct traffic, right? I found that by helping people, it made it just kind of fell into that role. And that's literally what happened. I was on a project where
mhm.
the people who were leading the project were very technical, very smart, and very good at their job, but they
No,
weren't really good at delegating out how things needed to be
to be
done.
done.
And so I jumped in and kind of took that role on myself. And then at the end of the project, everybody was like, oh, yeah, Pam should be leading these, not doing them. But then it was just doing both, right? Doing and leading.
Yeah. No, it's not easy, and it's not given to everyone. Those skills to lead people, and make sure that they're doing the job that they're supposed to do. It's been a journey for you. You've moved
Yes.
from one position to the other, and today, actually, like today's market, it's a completely different market than where you and I started.
Yes, it is.
I said back in the days, for me, all I needed was to put MCP on my resume,
Yes.
and I was good to get my foot in the door and get an interview. But being turned down at least after being
Yes,
seen. But today, it's a completely different market.
it
As
is.
a leader, how do you read it? And any advice or anything you think people need to be doing on this? And when you get a resume in your table, what do you do? What do you look for?
So, the first thing I don't look for is, I don't really care about the format. I
Okay.
care about the content, right? Like, if it looks pretty, yeah, it might catch my eye, but and some of them I look at them, go, oh, I should make mine look like that. But right, I mean, some of them are very professional looking, and it's really about content and what somebody's doing. And
Content.
it's also being able to read between the lines.
Okay.
So when I look at a resume, I do look for misspellings and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Not going to hold it against somebody if they have one or two words misspelled. But if it's something like DNS, I might.
You
Right.
might you might be
But
clear.
yeah, but yes. But because autocorrect
Mm,
things that happen, things, so again, it's not the most important thing. But I look for history,
mm,
right? Like, what kind of work has somebody done? Are they progressing? Have they done something and then something different? I'm not bothered by gaps in a resume. A lot of hiring managers look at gaps in a resume and they want an explanation. And I might ask just to be, like, fill in the gaps, what
Mhm.
was it, and give you an opportunity, especially if it's a long gap, right? But gaps in a resume don't mean anything. Could mean you
Okay.
took time off to take care of a relative. Could mean you took time off to raise a kid. I mean, there's so many things, right? But it's really about, when I'm looking at the resume, I'm trying to say, do you have the skills that we advertise that we want in this position, right? The things you can't get from a resume that you have to get from an actual conversation are the soft skills,
Mhm.
the focus, the drive, but you can get a lot from the resume. So I'm really looking for those keywords. And if you're ever submitting your resume for a
Mm.
job that you want and you feel like you're missing some of the things, feel free to add a cover letter and
Okay.
explain why you feel like you'd still be good at that job. The other thing is if you've got a list this long of
Mm.
skills that we're looking for, don't be intimidated if you have more than 20 or 30% of them,
Okay.
right? Because sometimes you have transferable skills that you don't realize that you have. And sometimes there's so much more high priority. Like when I write a job posting, I like to have, here's the top skills that I want. Like this is a must have. I'm
Okay.
looking for an identity person. They must
Oh,
have some IAM, some PAM, some, some MFA, some kind of, right, some type of specific skills. But
that's
if I
okay.
have a long list of other things, I also try to be very clear in writing the job description that if you have some of these, please apply. You don't need all, right? Because people are too often intimidated by
Yeah.
job descriptions. And, I mean, I wouldn't recommend applying for jobs that you clearly aren't capable of doing. But
But
absolutely, don't be intimidated by a job description because not everybody can write a good job description. And mine aren't perfect either.
that's right. So people, forget the format. Autocorrect.
Yes. Yes.
And if you have 80% or 70%, still apply. You don't have to have everything on the job description. Apply on the job.
Even if you have
Um,
50% or 30%,
oh, still.
yeah, I mean, if it looks like a job that you think you'd be good at, you don't need
Mhm.
100% or even 80% because unless it's a very specific leadership position,
Mm.
I actually like to look for people with potential, people
Okay.
with like the ability to learn, and people who are willing to take on more because a lot of people get a job, do it for a little while, get bored, move on.
Mm.
And if you have every skill that I've asked for you to have, and that's going to be your job for the next year, it's 6 months before you're bored. But if you're learning something, and those are the people, right? If you're constantly learning something new, then you're not going to be bored.
Then you're gonna progress on that role.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. I think a lot of us and a lot of people don't consider that because sometimes we look into these jobs and you're like, okay, yeah, I can do it, or I can't do it, and then you move on. You don't. Few people apply on job just by saying, hey, I think I can grow in this job. I can learn on this job. I help a lot of leadership as they,
Yes.
seeing those resume, they can consider people that have that, they can grow on the job. But I think a lot of these days, a lot of company, they want you to come in with all the qualification, and few are really giving people the chance to come in and grow on those jobs. So that's very good.
And if that's the case, then that
Mm.
company is doing themselves a disservice
Okay.
because if they're looking for somebody that I mean, yes, there are going to be certain positions where they absolutely need somebody that has all the skills because they
Mm.
need somebody to hit the ground running and really kill it. But sometimes that's when you hire a consultant, right? Because it's not going to be the long-term permanent position.
Mm. You want them to come
But
in.
most of the time a company, if they look for somebody who wants to grow with them, they're going to have much happier employees. And that's I think that's key, building a culture, building a community, you know.
Wow. If you're connecting with us this evening, I am Kakombe. You also might know me as Stefan Funga. Hey, you are on Kakombe LinkedIn Live. And this evening, I have Pam, my special guest and my friend. Pam and I connected back. I'm going to say hello to a few people, and then we're going to do a presentation. And after that, we're going to talk about connection. What do you think, Pam?
Absolutely.
Hey, Chris Paul, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Lisa, hello. Jean, good afternoon. Jean d'Arc, hello from Canada. Luc, the boss, we thank you all for being here tonight. So we prepare a little bit of presentation that we'd like to share with you this evening about this project and why we're doing it. So let's go and start the presentation. All right, everyone. So if you don't know me, Kakombe Funga Mukaba, aka Stefan Funga, it's my name. And this evening, we are introducing Hired Ministry LinkedIn Live, which is gonna be the platform that we're gonna be start delivering our content on. Why Hired Ministry? Let's move. I'll start. I did the introduction a little bit. Hired Ministry is a platform that we created. That's where we're gonna be delivering all the content and everything that we're gonna be doing. Why Hired Ministry? Because we wanna work in the model that we're creating. It's like a ministry where we all gonna be ministers. We all gonna be serving. The idea is to bring all our knowledge together and help each other to get better. Your knowledge might serve someone else, and that person, once they've got the knowledge, they might also go and serve someone else. So the goal of Higher Ministry, like I said, LinkedIn Live, will be to bring people together to create a platform for sharing diverse experiences and journey. Our main objective is just to facilitate learning and nurture meaningful connection among all participants. We just want you to come in with your knowledge, with your experience, and share. As you're sharing, as you're helping other people, you're also helping yourself. Pam, do you have anything you want to add on that? Or
I think the most important thing is that by helping others, you're helping yourself. And I think that that's one thing that a lot of people don't fully understand. But by taking on that, like mentorship, coaching, even leading, you can learn from everybody, no matter what position you're in.
yeah, true story. That's my experience. That's how I go into IT. When I started IT, I was presented with the opportunity to start teaching some of my peers. As I start teaching them few command back in the days, CPM, it was not even DOS. But every day I was teaching them. Their questions to me pushed me to go and research more. And I was able to come back next day and some answers. As they were learning, I was also learning. And that's what higher ministry is all about. How do you be part of this program? So everything will be done from your own LinkedIn platform. So to take initiative, you would like to invite people that you want to be part of the show, people that you want to hear from. So from your own platform, you can actually start a conversation. Say, hey, I would like to have this person on the show. You tag them, you tag myself, and we're all going to be coming to your platform, commenting on those conversation, and we can start bringing those people to come and share with us the experience and so on and so forth. It's all about starting a discussion. Pam, I don't know if you want to add something on that.
Networking, networking. It is the best way to help you find a job. It's the best way to help others find a job. As many jobs as you might apply for, it's the networking that's going to help you.
And that's why you and I are here. It's all about networking. Judy, welcome to the show.
Hi,
Happy
Judy.
to have you here. So, if you're ready to get involved, there's actually three ways you can get involved in this platform, in this ministry. So, the first things we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting conversation from our own platform to invite people that we want to hear from. The other way to get involved is also to give a shout out, to suggest people that we can actually honor, people that we can give them a thanks for what they do for us, because we all have those people that go above and beyond to try to help us do our job. And this could be anybody in your company, or anybody in a hospital where you go to, or anybody, you know, anywhere that has impact you or is helping your community, and we'll give them a spotlight. The third way, it's also the companies that are doing great, the company that you're using that are serving you. You like the service? Hey, you can actually start uh, recommend them, and we'll be able to honor them and just tell them thank you for the work that they're doing. Pam, anything you want to add on those?
No, I think you've got it covered.
Covered. Thank you so much. And this is how you can do it. You don't have to leave your platform. You do it from your own LinkedIn platform. From your own, you start a post. You say, I highly recommend having Joblogs or Gendo as a speaker on the Hired Ministry. Hired Ministry, it is the platform that we're going to be hosting all these events. You post, you link them, you link Hired Ministry. I'll see the comment, the notification. The person that you're inviting, you're recommending, they will see the notification. We will come into your platform. We will also comment. The more comment people in your network, and the more those people, the person you're inviting on the show, they'll be likely willing to come and share the experience with us. So you have the power. Like I said, you start a conversation from your own platform. You do the same when it comes to recommending, a company. You do the same. You start a conversation from your own platform. You tag the company that you want to put on spotlight, and you tag Hired Ministry. We get a notification. People in our team, they'll come to your platform, your profile. We will comment. You will comment. We'll generate traffic. And before you know it, those people, the company, or the person that you want to put on spotlight, their work will be recognized. And, like I said, sometimes it's all about just saying a thank you. That's all. I actually want to share the story of Sandy Rubio. She's a lady that worked for my current company, LCRA. Sandy, I call her Mama LCRA because she always there to help everyone do their job. And sometimes, like I said, it's just about saying thank you. And that's what we're going to be doing in Higher Ministry. We want to say thank you to those people that are helping us do our job, helping you in whatever you're doing. We're going to be saying thank you in this show by giving them a spotlight on any of the show that's we going to be doing. You have the power. This show might be called Hired Ministry, but it's not about me. It's not about Pam. It's about all of us. on how we want to use our experience, how we want to serve other people. Pam, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to add is that if you're not comfortable tagging people, feel free to start a private message, right? So you can message either one of us, both of us, the person that you want to introduce us to, and we can do it that way as well, because I know not everybody is comfortable tagging other people without their knowledge. But yeah, I mean, whichever way you are most comfortable, you feel free to act that way, and we'll be with you.
Beautiful. Start that private conversation. If you know anybody that you think we can all learn from, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, and this is anybody in your network, you start that conversation. We want to learn from other people's experiences. And that's what this platform is all about. So what to do next? Follow us on LinkedIn at Hired Ministry. If you have not followed Hired Ministry, please do. We need your support so we can grow this community. Your final word on that before we move on our third part of this show. Thank you so much if you are connecting with us this evening. I am Kakombe, and my guest is Pam tonight. Pam and I connected way, way back. But I'm not going to share that story. I'll let Pam share the story. Welcome back.
Yes. So some of the people know this story that are on this call because they were there. So some of the stuff that Kakombe might not know about is we were tasked by a very large organization in my one of my consulting projects that I was on that ended up being a couple years long. So it was a big project. And we were tasked with starting up a support center.
Okay.
A white glove concierge style support for a online software application program. One that's well known, but in the consulting world, we don't talk about our customers, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So we were tasked with starting up this project, and we were given basically 6 months to have it fully staffed and operating in a capacity with. So if you think about like the Uber or any other like 5-star profile in terms of like giving stars. They wanted customers to rate, and they wanted to have a 90%. So
Wow.
that would be, that would be like the equivalent of, 4.5 or whatever, or what, the 90% rating. So it's equivalent of basically almost always 5 stars, because 1 4-star can actually bump somebody down quite a bit very quickly. The algorithm, it's very drastic. It takes a lot of closed tickets to make up for that one bad rating. So we were given 6 months, and we had determined that we needed about 200 people to get started.
Okay.
And so we had to hire 200 people and get them trained and create this in a very, very short period of time.
In 6 months.
And well, we had to have people not only hired, trained, but also hitting that 90%, like 5 stars in that 6-month period.
Okay.
So this same company also hired several other organizations to do the same thing, but we were the first one to actually hit the numbers and really get the high ratings. So, kudos to all of our team. Some of you are here.
Everybody who is part of that project, kudos to you all. Kudos to you.
Yes. So anyway, we put together a 3-week training program. And we basically pulled in a whole bunch of people. Anybody that was on the bench in the consulting organization was screening resumes, right? And they were passing them over. And then we were doing quick interviews and bringing people on. And we were looking for 3 different levels, like entry level who had really good customer service. The second level, which would be somebody that, maybe had a little bit of technology background that had been able to do like some help desk experience. And then the level 3 were like the people that knew this particular product and knew it well and were able to, answer questions and do support right off the bat. And what what a lot of people who were part of the program, my training program. Now, mind you, this 3-week training program, you were paid, right? You came on, you went through this 3-week training program that was sort of self-paced, but also directed. We had a big Skype chat where we were all in there. We kicked off every morning. We said, here's what you should finish today. And at the end of each of the online task, sessions, there was a quiz that you could take. And what we were looking for, even though we were looking for people with technology, we were looking more for customer service, right? We were looking for people who were going to be able to deliver that 5-star customer service rating, because this wasn't just about the tech. This was also about the customer service, the white glove, the concierge. So the thing that a lot of people didn't understand too is the 3-week training program was also a test in and of itself.
Okay.
And
I did not know that.
yes, not everybody made it through the 3-week training program.
Okay.
Some people fell behind. Some people that fell behind made up the difference in their own time.
Okay.
Because they wanted it so bad, right? It was so new, that like the whole thing was so new to them that they weren't able to do it in the time that we deemed that they could. And so some of those people that did it in their own time, they went on to be really successful in this. Other people who thought that they knew everything just didn't keep up and didn't show up, and they just didn't get to stay.
Wow.
Right. So there was about 1/3 of the people that were hired in. We had to hire over 300 people to get 200.
Wow.
So about 1/3 of the people that came through that ended up kind of, failing out during the training program before they ever even got to talk to customers. And most of them because they just couldn't or wouldn't keep up.
They couldn't keep up. I was part of that journey.
Yes, you were.
So a lot of people on this call, we were together on that journey, and we work hard.
Yes, you did. You did. Rock stars, all of you.
We work hard, and everyone on that team, we were chasing those 5 stars.
The beautiful thing about it, though, think about this. This was pre-COVID. This was before anybody was doing the remote work from home.
Correct.
We were all 100% remote team. Those of us that actually met in person, it was either a fluke, or after a while I started flying to the locations where we had like big groups of people to try to, take people out to lunch and say thank you. Right. A couple people ended up, getting hired on full time because everybody was subcontractors. And then some people were hired on full time for the organization that we worked for. Yeah. And, it was, Chris, you're right. It was definitely a fun and exciting journey.
It was, yes.
The team that we built, the camaraderie, the family that we built has given us lasting relationships. And this, again, was all 100% online, remote. And this was even before Teams. So this was Skype. And so Skype, you couldn't really do video. You could, but it just was such drag, right? I mean, you couldn't have a functional conversation with more than 2 people on a Skype call. Yep. So it was all just voice and a picture. And yes, we built a team of people who chasing 5 stars. I love it, Judy. We built this team of people who, I've been loving watching everybody's success, because almost everybody that was on that project that stayed in tech has really you are, one who's like gone on to do great things. I mean, everybody's really gone on to do great things in their careers.
I think, for all of us, it's sort of the project of lifetime, because there is no, like you said, most of the time on our gig they hire you because they want your tech experience. But we had to deal with
customers.
Share some of those stories. You remember one?
So I'm not going to say all names, but there was this one customer. Her name was Shirley.
Okay.
Shirley. So we had layers, right? And a lot of customers would say, I need to speak to your manager. And they would up the ranks 5 times in 2 years did it go all the way up the ranks to me.
Wow.
Right. I was like the last one in the tech, right?
And
Anybody above me had no idea, could not like they, my bosses would get on the phone and they'd be like, "What? I have no idea what you're talking about. What's going on here?" They wouldn't even know how, right? So I was like, from a technical standpoint, right? I was like the last stop.
Yeah, the last stop.
5 times those calls ended with me getting on it. 3 of them were Shirley.
3 of them wish. What was so special about Shirley?
She wanted things that couldn't be done. She wanted to know why her whole C drive wasn't replicating to OneDrive.
For real?
Yes, including her system folder and right. Yes. Yeah. So, she wanted things that just couldn't be done, and she didn't understand enough to know what couldn't be done.
Yes.
She was sweet until she wasn't.
Yeah.
One of our ambassadors, that's what the agents were called, ambassadors. One of our ambassadors was military, and she said, "Ma'am," and she said, "Don't you call me that." And she said, "I'm sorry." And then she said it again later, and she just went nuts. And I said, "Look, Shirley, I have to apologize. She's been through the military. She calls everybody ma'am. It's been ingrained in her for a long time. Please do not take any offense. This is absolutely nothing that, she's not referring to anything other than it's meant as a sign of respect. So I apologize that this offends you, and we will do our best to not say it again." But it was that kind of like unreasonableness that there was just no. I mean, she was so upset she ended up sending an email to the CEO of the organization.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, people. It was the gig of our lives. Like Judy said, so much fun and so much learning.
Yes.
Still talk about that experience during my interviews. There's nothing to top that, Judy. You're not alone. Myself, when people interview me, I'm like, sometimes they're asking me a question. I'm like, can you just read my resume? Can you just read my resume?
It might be a test that they're testing you, that it's really your resume. You didn't copy somebody else's, but
you're right.
Yeah.
These days we don't know, right? We don't know if it was fun. It was a time of our life. Judy, thank you so much for being here. And Chris, thank you so much for being here. Lisa, Chen, you are on Kakombe LinkedIn Live.
Yes, thank you everybody for showing up.
It's Pam. So what we're gonna do now, I don't know if Pam, you have any word that you want to share before we open our question, or if anybody want to come on call and speak with us on the next few minutes that we still have on this live. We are open. If you have any question, we'll take the question. If you want to call, the telephone number is 682-313-6182. You can call and say hello to Pam and myself if you want to.
Or they can join the stream and come on video
you can
too,
join.
right?
You can join the stream. Let me post the link. All right, that's the link right there.
All right,
come on the link.
While people are either joining or not, and I get it, we didn't give you warning. You could also join the stream and talk, and you don't have to go on video. So
Correct.
if you're not not video ready without warning, sometimes I wouldn't be. So those of you who know me will know when I say this. This is something I like to say: is just be you, right? Be yourself. Be who you are. Let yourself, who you are, shine through in a interview.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't show that so much in your resume, but in an interview, if you want to be in a place where you're going to be happy and you're going to be like the people that you work with and have them like you. And sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you're just working remote and you don't have to. You just, as long as you like the work. But being yourself is the best way to get there.
You can never beat it. People ask me every time, Kakombe, what do you do? Say I'm just being Kakombe, and that's all I know how to be. Be me every day. That's what I do, and that's what I was gonna ask you, Pam, about people that are trying to get into work today. You know, you've answered that question already by saying they should just be well they are, just present themselves out. But anything else that you think you can share with the people that are watching us tonight in terms of trying to find jobs and things like that? Any tip, anything?
Yeah. So probably if you are looking to break into like a new area, like breaking into technology,
Hmm.
talk to the people who are doing those jobs. Reach out to them, network, find out like what would be the best online course or thing that you should do to break into that new technology. If it's just getting a different job in a different organization, find out who you know that works and does what it is you want to do.
Mm.
Networking is always going to be the best way to find your next job. Networking is really what it's all about. I think I was telling Kakumbe this, right? So, looking for a job, I put out something like 200
Hmm.
LinkedIn job applications and only 35 responses,
Wow.
which netted like 4 interviews, which is now down to still in discussions with 2. So
Networking.
the yes, yes. And one of them was through networking, and the other one actually was just a LinkedIn job application. So, really, of those 2, only
Mm.
one of them came from applying for jobs on LinkedIn.
And this is why we're gonna be announcing. We have announced it. We're gonna start doing this show regularly. We're gonna communicate next week. We wanna. There's so much job that are internal, and those jobs don't even get to be seen outside because they just get mixed on all the jobs that are out there on the job online. So we're gonna start meeting as we go in the weeks to come every week, where people are gonna be bringing those internal jobs. And if you have a connection with your HR manager, we can also invite them. So we're gonna be having those happy hours where we're gonna be bringing internal jobs and share them between ourselves, so people can go and start applying directly to those companies instead of waiting for those jobs to be put on LinkedIn. So that's the connection. That's the community we're trying to build, where you can reach out to me and say, "Hey, Kakombe, hey, you work for LCRA. LCRA have any jobs that are out there? Guess what? I'll connect you with the link, and you're able to go and apply for those jobs." Judy is saying, please add me on the call and let me know if I can assist in helping. Yes, Judy, we're gonna add you in. You've been a rock star. You know, you've always been
Always.
there. You've always showed up. You've never disappointed. So we're gonna add you on that call, and we're gonna start doing this every week, where we're gonna start bringing those internal jobs and sharing them in our network. I think that will be the most effective way of us helping each other to navigate through this new uh, job market, where a lot is online and it's difficult to find what we're looking for sometime online.
Filtering through the garbage.
Filtering to the garbage, more garbage, and sometimes we miss those jobs because you can't go to all those filtering.
Yeah.
You are connecting with myself, Kakombe, or Stefan Funga. You are on LinkedIn Live, also on YouTube at Stefan Funga. And my guest, it's Pam. Pam and I connected way, way, way back. Pam, somebody asked me, that, how did you get Pam to your call? What happened? How did you do? What did you do to get Pam in your call?
You asked.
I asked.
That's another like good bit of advice.
Yeah.
You don't get what you don't ask for.
You don't get what you don't ask for. I started working on this project like a year ago, and I was just trying to put pieces together, slowly as I was, preparing myself for what we have today. And I got to the point where I needed to start calling people that can come into the show, people that I can also ask for advice and just, say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? I call a few people, and then I call Pam.
I was going to say, I'm just going to look back and see when we had our first conversation.
Yeah.
June 22nd? No. Yeah, the first time we talked about this was you.
It's been a while.
June 21st.
Wow.
You reached out. So less than a month ago, you reached out and said, "Hey, can we talk?"
Yeah.
I had to filter through all the other messages because we keep in touch a couple of times a year just to say, "Hey, how's life? How's the family?" So yeah, June 21st.
We've never disconnected. We've kept in touch. We maintain the relationship, even though we in a different location, but networking, like Pam was saying. So when I called her, she was like, "What do you need, Kakombe?" I'll come in, help. And her and I have been bouncing ideas and working into this where we are today. It's been a lot of work. We have a lot in coming, and I'll let Pam invite you to join us and share about that, because we see what is out there and how we can all help each other on this journey.
Absolutely. Anybody that wants to be a guest, just let us know.
Yeah. You can connect with Pam or you can connect with myself. And if you want to join, we call this journey Hyatt Ministry because it is a ministry. We serving each other in the journey at the same time we're serving ourselves. So come and join us. Let's build this platform. And thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Great things happen.
We will make it happen. And it's already happening, because where we are today is not where we were a month ago. And this is our show 000000001. And I could not ask for a better person to join me on this one.
Well, thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you.
All right.
So we're gonna be wrapping up this show tonight. I don't know if you have anything else, Pam, you want to share this evening. It's been fun.
It's always.
I enjoy myself. And you know how to get engaged. Start the conversation from your platform. Think of anybody that's, we can learn from. And we'll come to your platform and we'll extend our invitation to that person to come and talk to us, to come and share with us the experience.
Can't wait.
Your final word before we call it a night.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Pam. You as well. And everyone that's all connecting with us this evening, thank you so much.
Thanks for everybody who showed up.
You were on Kakombe, LinkedIn Live, also on Stefan Funga YouTube. Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.